Namaskar aspirants, this is Bhushan Godke. I welcome you all on my official YouTube channel, Kaivalya Civil Services Mentorship for UPSC and MPSC. Today we are going to discuss UPSC Civil Services Main Examination 2024 GS1 paper. I have just created a model hints for the GS1 paper and also the other three GS papers, GS1, GS2, GS3 and ethics paper, and for essay as well as we will discuss the history optional paper as well. So our today's purpose is to just go through the means previous year this 2024 GS1 paper. Then we will try to analyze the questions, the what kind of structure the candidates were supposed to create it. If you go through it, then you will realize in what different ways the candidate will have been written the answer. तो हम ट्राई करेंगे मतलब देखेंगे कि क्वेश्चन के आंसर हम कैसे लिख सकते थे, जैसे इंट्रोडक्शन, बॉडी, कंक्लूजन, ये तो सभी को पता होता है, लेकिन एक्चुअली में क्या होता है जब क्वेश्चंस पूछा जाता है देन हाउ टू इंटरप्रेट इट, how to break down the question into different parts of the answer, then what to write in the introduction, what to write in the body, and what to write in the conclusion. It becomes difficult for many candidates, so we will try to understand it also while going through the each and every question. We will not go word by word means of the answer, but we will try to understand its structure, and also we will try to establish its relation with the previous year question paper. If we read the first question, that's underline the changes in the field of society and economy from Rig Vedic to the later Vedic period. Now, I think in 2013 or 2024, 2014, there was one question related with the Vedic economy or Vedic society. So it was, you can interlink it with the previous question paper. Means it was expected, like again in our syllabus, it is given that the question will be asked on art, architecture, literature, and culture. But for answering this question, you must know the historical background. Means do not just try to cover the art and architecture for men's paper. If you know the social, economical, political background of the contemporary period, then definitely you will able to answer the question in deep way. So in this question, we will means candidate were supposed to write down the introduction, and while introducing, they were supposed to just highlight the historical dimension. Now, for example, period or historical facts become one of the important dimensions of history. तो यहाँ पे हमने लिखा हुआ है कि अर्ली वैदिक पीरियड का जो पीरियड है 1500 to 1000 before common era, and later Vedic period का 1000 to 600 before common era. And also to just emphasize its historical sense, we can uh, means just write down the different sources from which we can write down the means write down the answer. Now we can break this question into two parts, means changes in society and changes in economy. मतलब हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि दो पार्ट में से डिवाइड करने के बाद इसे हम टेबल फॉर्म में लिख सकते हैं. नाउ अगर टेबल फॉर्म में बेनिफिट यही होता है कि आपके पास अगर ज़्यादा कंटेंट हो तो आप अच्छी तरह से लिख पाते हो, और कम वर्ड्स में भी हम क्या कर सकते हैं, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन हम यहाँ पे लिख सकते हैं. जैसे हमने फर्स्ट डायमेंशन जो लिखा है यहाँ पे, तो वर्ण सिस्टम. Again, in Rigvedic period, the Varna system was not based on the birth, means it was mainly based on the physical appearance. So I have mentioned over here, it becomes means institutionalized in later part of the Vedic period, or we call it as the later Vedic period. Means Varna system, to which we classify the four Varnas, as Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. It came into existence and institutionalized in the later Vedic period. So that has been written over there. In social structure, obviously tribal society in later Vedic period, the society became more, you can say that the stable, because they were practicing the agriculture. Now, for each dimension, I have given uh, three you can say that the points. Now, in actual examination, it will not possible for you to write down such more information because the space is less and the time is also less. But my purpose here is to just acquainted with you the new types of the structure. It is not the new type, but in what way you could have been means written the your ancestral Varna system, social structure, then condition of women, slavery, and Gotra system. Means in first part you can cover 4 to 5 points जो हमने यहाँ पे लिखा है. Then changes in economy. Then changes in economy. While writing it, we must emphasize on important changes. Means pastoralist society to agriculture society. Then use of iron. In Rigvedic economy, the cattle was mainly utilized as the you can say the unit of wealth, and in the later Vedic period, the cattle were used in sacrifices. So that distinction you must able to make in the your answer. Then means of exchange. In the trade also, in the context of early Vedic period, it was the barter system. The barter system was continued in later Vedic period also, because there was not the you can say that the existence of coin. In the last phase of the later Vedic period, we have the archaeological sources of uses of coins, because in you can say that later Vedic period sources and Rig Vedic source, you can find out some names which can be interpreted as the coins. But in the context of archaeological sources, we are finding its existence from the last phase of the later Vedic period. So we must know about it. And then economical terminologies. There's 4 to 5 points in the first part, and remaining the 4 to 5 points in the second part of the answer you can cover. And obviously you could conclude it by making the similarity between the both phases, means Rig Vedic period and the later Vedic period. So that is the one thing. And this question was, means it was easier one, because it is linked with the previous year question paper. It's 2013, 2014, I think. Then the next question was, estimate the contribution of Pallavas of Kanchi for the development of art and architecture. Now you can say that it was purely from the art and architecture phase, or art and architecture part of your syllabus. And the Pallavas was the one of the important dynasties of the South India. In South India, there were only 3 to 4 important dynasties, mainly first Pallavas, then Cholas, and Vijayanagara empires. So you can mainly focus on these important dynasties. Then you could have introduced the answer by writing down the period of dynasty, means 4th century to 9th century common era. So that was the one line. And one important dimension, that is their contribution in the Dravida temple architecture. If you mention this historical facts, then it may impress examiner, because examiner will come to know that you are not bluffing, you have the knowledge. So that means, again, I have tried to just present this answer in tabular format, because in tabular format you can cover the मैक्सिमम पॉइंट्स. अब हम यहाँ पे देखें तो यहाँ पे हम इन्होंने हमें क्या पूछा है, द पल्लवास ऑफ कांची का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है आर्ट एंड आर्किटेक्चर इन साउथ इंडिया. इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इन्होंने हमें, सॉरी, आर्ट एंड लिटरेचर के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इन्होंने पूछा है. तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, आर्ट का जो क्लासिफिकेशन है वो नॉन परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स एंड परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स. एज यू नो, इफ यू हैव कवर्ड योर सिलेबस, then we generally classify into non-performing arts, or you can say that the visual arts. And the performing arts means where the means artist has to perform some activities. So for our understanding, we have just classified it in the form of non-performing arts, or you can say that the visual part of the arts. We have covered the temple architecture, Pallava relief sculpture, iconography, coins, and paintings. Again, if you have the history as a optional subject, then obviously you will have the content to write down such a thing. But my purpose here is to just acquainted you with the new dimension. That is what different kinds of dimension you could include in your answer, so that it will enrich one answer, and you will be in position to get the maximum marks. For example, if you generally know the 4 phases of Pallava architectural development, at least if you write down one each point for this different phases, then obviously the examiner will come to know that you have the knowledge. And because it's a 10 marker question, and it is necessary to just mention the Mahendra style, early cave temples, and here you could write just one example. Okay, that any one of this example you could have written over there, that will have made your 1 point. I mean, in the tips way, you could have presented your answer. Similarly for Mamalla style, elegance and monolith, because it was a monolithic one. So here you could have your Trimurti cave or Varha cave. That could be have means you may have mentioned over there. तो आपने क्या किया होता, राजसीमा style. This is structural temple. It is the important phase, means important keywords. Again, here you could have just written one example. So it will have make your answer completed. Similarly, Pallava relief sculpture. And again, we have the Mahabalipuram that temple and sculpture also present over there. Iconography, which may laid the foundation for iconography development in the period of Chola. Then coins, the development means you can say that the Pallava means coins made up of lead, copper, etc. और वहाँ पे उन्होंने जो मोटिव्स वगैरह लिखा, मतलब क्रिएट किए थे या इम्प्रिंट किए थे, वो आप यहाँ पे क्या कर सकते हो, तो हाईलाइट कर सकते हो. देन ग्रंथ स्क्रिप्ट, दैट इज important. They have made the contribution in the development of Grantha script. Then paintings. In painting case, you can quote the Sitanavasal cave. It is associated with the Jaina culture. So, and then in right hand side, I have included the performing arts. Then music. You can just link the music with means historical development of Carnatic music, dance. You can interlink it with the Bharatanatyam because Bharatanatyam was the ultimate culmination of temple dance. The temple dance were more prominent in South Indian temples, so you could link over there. Then drama. Here a drama. The king Mahendra Varman Pratham had written Mattavisala, Mattavisala Prahasana. So that is satirical Sanskrit drama he had written. So you could mention over there. Then patronage of dance and drama. Obviously Bharatanatyam Kuchipudi. So you could have mentioned over there. I have written. Then musical inscription, art in religious ceremonies. So these dimension, even if you are in position to write down 1 point each, then obviously your means your answer will become enriched. और second part में हम क्या लिख सकते थे different contribution in literature. Then general characteristics means obviously contribution in the Tamil development of Tamil language and Sanskrit language. Then Sanskrit language, by explaining 1 point, you could have given 1 or 2 examples. So I have written over 3 to 4 examples. Then development in the Tamil literature, obviously the Pallavas would have contributed for the development of Tamil language. Then contribution of, you can here written Bhakti Sant, mean Alwar and Lanars. Then language, uses of language in inscriptions, means Tamil inscriptions, Sanskrit inscription. So also I have written over there. Then epigraphical development and inscription through the Tamil language. Translation and commentary work, means Pallava translated the Sanskrit text into Tamil. And then literary patronage and education. So you could link this dimension, literature, patronage, and education, with the development of the literature. So you could have means covered a number of means there's maximum points in your answer. So that is, and in the one line you can just establish its linkages with Chola and Vijayanagar art and architecture. तो हमने क्या किया दोस्तों, यहाँ पे इंट्रोडक्शन में इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्ट्स और जो हमारी मेन बॉडी थी मीन्स डेवलप कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द आर्ट, हमने इसमें 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड कर दिया, परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट और सॉरी परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट नॉन परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट. नॉन परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट में हमने टेम्पल आर्किटेक्चर का स्क्रिप्ट में इंट्रोडक्शन. देन पल्लवा रिलीफ स्कल्पचर, स्कल्पचर में एक एग्जांपल महाबलीपुरम, और एक दो है यहाँ पे मैंने लिखा हुआ है इकोनोग्राफी, जो डेवलपमेंट में इन्होंने इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले किया है. पॉइंट्स, पॉइंट्स में भी जिन्होंने जो मोटिव्स वगैरह क्रिएट किए हुए हैं और इम्प्रिंट किए हैं. देन पेंटिंग, पेंटिंग में सीतन अवसल के. एंड देन परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स में म्यूजिक, भरतनाट्यम का आप जो कोई हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड है उसे आप लिंक कर सकते हो. डांस में obviously Bharatanatyam, and here sorry in music, in the music context you could have linked it with Carnatic music, and in the context of dance the Bharatanatyam. और ड्रामा में हम एक एग्जांपल अगर अपने पास होता तो आप लिख सकते थे जैसे मत्त विशाल प्रहसन, then patronage of dance and drama. So these points you could have covered in the your answer, and also in the context of development to the literature. Then we will just move toward the third question. What were the events that led to the Quit India movement? Point out its result. Also remember, in the context of modern India, it is the tendency of UPSC to ask more questions in the era 1940s onward. Means that decade, if you just analyze the previous year question paper of prelims as well as mains, they try to give more focus in this last phase. So obviously that is also, you can say that the Quit India movement question was doable. It was not that much difficult. So in introduction, you are supposed to just mention important facts when it was introduced, what was its purpose, and what was the background of at that time. Means the World War II, you could have mentioned. Then events leading to the Quit India movement. Then failure of Cripps mission, impact of World War II, disillusion with British policies, then increasing repression of and curtailment of civil liberties. So these different types of points I have mentioned over here. Again, our main purpose is to just understand the question and to break down it into structure. Then in the first part, you could have covered the events leading to the Quit India movement. Then point out its result. Now, in the second part, you are supposed to write down the its result. Again, I have used here the tabular format. Again, in short-term results, long-term results. In short-term results, I have just classified into negative result, positive result. Again, in the long-term results, you can classify it into positive result and negative result. Means at minute level, if you structure it it in such a way that in a minute level it represents is to reflect your thinking process, and it will obviously impress the examiner and you will get the maximum marks. The negative, what will have been the negative impact? Obviously the Britishers have suppressed the movement, and its immediate goal means goal of Quit India movement was to get an independence. But obviously because of this operation repression of the movement, the Indians could not get immediate independence. That was got in 1947. So that was one of the point. Then arrest of people, that was the negative aspect. And then in the context of positive aspect, it was a spontaneous movement, because when the movement started itself in the initial days, the first rung of the leaders were, you can say that, they were arrested, and obviously the you can this movement means people led themselves. So that was one of the important part. And then the establishment of the parallel government. So that you can your here emphasize, मतलब आप यहाँ पे emphasize कर सकते हो. फिर लॉन्ग टर्म रिजल्ट में आप लिख सकते हो पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट. पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट में मूवमेंट का इम्पैक्ट क्या हुआ क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट का, कि ब्रिटिश रूल वीक हो रहा है. ब्रिटिश रियलाइज दैट दे कुड नॉट रूल इंडिया unless they have support of Indians. Again, the loyalty of army, bureaucrats, civil servants, it was degraded. So that was the thing. Then impact of Quit India movement across the different countries. You can say that it influenced the nationalistic movement across the world. So you can just link it with the global dimension, negotiation, and Mountbatten Pact. Though it was not directly related to the Cripps mission, but you can say that it was the culmination of the different movements or different phases of nationalism, national phase led by the Indians. So you can mention over there India's path to independence. इंडिया का जो path है independence, उसी ने इसने क्या किया है तो lead किया है. They were the positive impact. And what was the negative impact? Then widening of communal group, because Muslim League didn't support the Quit India movement, and leaders of the Quit India movement, or you can say that the people failed to mobilize the support of Muslim League. So you can mention that one of the negative part. And in conclusion, you can link its result with the obvious the India's independence. So you could have covered these points in the answer. Then next question was related to the what is sea surface temperature rise and how does it affect the formation of tropical cyclone. Again, tropical cyclone is the, you can say that, the favorite theme of UPSC. If you go through the previous year question paper, I think 2 to 3 times there was the means question has been asked on tropical cyclones and sea surface temperature rise. This topic was in news, I think April or May 2024. So you can interlink it with the current affairs. So I have just mentioned its definition, its dimension in the introduction. Then sea surface temperature rise and its causes. Hence, it was not asked in exactly in the question, but you are supposed to interpret it in such a way that it means whatever the question has been asked, you must give its complete आंसर. मीन्स क्वेश्चन अगर पूछा है और क्वेश्चन में एग्जैक्टली डायमेंशन नहीं पूछा है कि उसके रीजन क्या है इंक्रीज होने के, लेकिन आपने आंसर देते वक्त ऐसा ही देना चाहिए, जो भी आंसर आपने दिया होगा तो कंप्लीट लगना चाहिए. तो अगर यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि व्हाट इज द सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर राइज, तो आपको ये डिफाइन करना है. एंड हाउ डज इट अफेक्ट द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन, ये जो सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ द आंसर है. तो ये जो सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर राइज है, आप उसका डेफिनेशन दोगे और उसके जो पॉसिबल रीजन है उसे आप क्या कर दोगे, 2 या 3 पॉइंट्स में समराइज कर दोगे. मतलब आप इससे ज्यादा नहीं लिखोगे, लेकिन एटलीस्ट 3 पॉइंट्स है, 3 पॉइंट्स आप लिख सकते हो इसमें. देन इम्पैक्ट ऑफ सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर राइज ऑन ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन फॉर्मेशन. एंड ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन फॉर्मेशन पे कैसे इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है. ऑब्वियसली आई हैव गिवन हियर द एग्जांपल्स. You may know 1 or 2 example, but whatever information you have, you must put over there, and that information must be relevant one. Then increase cyclone frequency and intensity. So this dimension is mentioned over there. Faster intensification of cyclone and keyword, then its explanation and one example. That combination has been used in this points. And in conclusion, you can link it with the uh, means, global efforts. That global efforts are making efforts in the direction to curtail the climate change. मतलब ग्लोबल लेवल पे जो क्लाइमेट चेंज को कंटेन करने के लिए जो भी एफर्ट्स लिए जा रहे हैं, तो आप उसे ये लिंक कर सकते हो. जैसे कि अगर टेम्परेचर ग्लोबल वार्मिंग अगर कम होती है, क्लाइमेट चेंज पे उसका इम्पैक्ट स्लो होता है, तो ऑब्वियसली जो सी सरफेस राइज टेम्परेचर जैसा फिनोमेना है, वो कैसे हो सकते हैं, तो कंट्रोल में आ सकते हैं। तो आप उसका जो लिंकेजेस है, तो इसका लिंकेज आप इससे कर सकते हो। Then the next question, why do large cities tend to attract more migrants than smaller towns? Discuss in the light of conditions in developing countries. Now the question is in the context of developing countries, and why the migration is more in the means urban cities as compared to the smaller cities, and that from rural areas. Again, if you have exact information data, then you can present it in your introduction. Suppose in such questions where you do not have the exact information, then what you can do, you can just simplify the words given over there and contextualize this meaning so that it can become your introduction. You can take means we can take an example over here. For example, the introduction in countries with lower industrialization and living standards. Now, what does it mean? Lower industrialization and living standards mean it is related with the developing countries. Now you have just simplified it. Now, if the examiner goes through your one line, obviously that he or she will understand that you know the meaning. Then why do large cities tend to attract more migrants than the smaller towns? Then you can simplify it. Means a large urban agglomeration offer economic diversity and advanced infrastructure. In one line, you have just given the reason. This attracts more migrants primarily from rural areas compared to smaller towns, which provide limited prospects. In another dimension, you could have mentioned here the examples, if you know the examples. Then, in the first part, why large cities attract more migrants than smaller towns in developing countries. So, here the reasons have been given, and to support the reasons, just examples are given over here. So I think this question was doable. If you know the relation in the context of India, you can interlink it with the means global means other countries. मतलब आपको इंडिया की कंडीशन पता है कि इंडिया में कैसे हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है। ऑब्वियसली इन्होंने पूछे डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज है, तो उसका इंटरलिंकेज आप उससे कर सकते हो जो अदर डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज है, और अदर डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज में किसी लार्जेस्ट सिटीज का आपको नाम पता है, तो आप उसको इंटरलिंक करके आंसर लिख सकते हो। ठीक है, दैट इज I have written over there. Then innovative solution to address the migration to large cities. यहाँ पे आपको solution देना चाहिए, क्योंकि यहाँ पे एक ही क्वेश्चन पूछ मतलब पार्ट पूछा है। लेकिन अगर जहाँ पे स्कोप हो, आपको वहाँ पे सॉल्यूशन देनी चाहिए। अगर आप सॉल्यूशन वहाँ पे देते हो तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल गेट द मोर मार्क्स कंपेयर टू योर कंपटीटर्स दोस हु आर नॉट राइटिंग द सॉल्यूशंस। तो यहाँ पे स्कोप है सॉल्यूशन के लिए, लेकिन ग्रेटर एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज आप स्मॉलर टाउन्स में दे सकते हो, जिससे माइग्रेशन का जो बर्डन है लार्ज सिटीज पे वो कम हो सकता है। सुपीरियर एक्सेस टू सर्विसेज एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, कनेक्टिविटी, डिजिटल सॉरी हियर the innovative solution to address the migration to large cities. Then development of secondary cities, मतलब मैग्नेट सिटीज वगैरह होगी जो डेवलप कर सकते हैं। रूरल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, एमजी रहेगा मरेगा मतलब वहाँ पे वो क्या कर सकते हैं, एमजी नरेगा लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं। डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज, मतलब कॉटेज इंडस्ट्रीज और कुछ इंडस्ट्रीज फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्रीज जो रूरल एरियाज में डेवलप कर सकते हैं, तो वहाँ करना चाहिए। स्मार्ट सिटी इनिशिएटिव जो आपको नोइंग है, बस आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आंसर में क्या चीज़ें इंक्लूड हो सकती है, तो यहाँ पे। और कंक्लूजन में आप उसको किसने लिख कर सकते हो, तो SDG 11 सस्टेनेबल सिटीज एंड कम्युनिटीज। तो आप ये अगर लिख देते हो तो एक एडेड एडवांटेज आपको आ जाता है। और इससे इसके अलावा ये जो आपके पास ज़्यादा अगर पॉइंट हो, तो आप ये सब सॉल्यूशन जो है तो वो कंक्लूजन में भी लिख सकते हो। So it will help to cover your space as well. Then the next question is, what is the phenomenon of cloudburst? Explain. Cloudburst question was asked in GST paper, I think in last 2 or 3 years. So obviously it is, you can say that, doable question. And if you are doing previous year question papers thoroughly, then obviously you will have the content for it. Then just definition of cloudburst, how it is different from rainfall, and how and where does cloudburst occur, the points are little. Then some examples, and in conclusion you can write down the some solutions. Okay, Doppler radar system, NDMA proposed some measures. Though it is not a disaster management question, but in conclusion you can include this dimension. So that was related with the phenomena of cloudburst. It was the straightforward question, and it was the doable if you have prepared previous year question paper thoroughly. The next question was, what is the concept of demographic winter? Is the world moving towards such situation? Elaborate. Now it was the bouncer demographic winter. Even though we are knowing the examples or trend that in some of the developing countries like Italy, Germany, there is a decline in birth rate and increasing the population of elderly. But whether it was exactly called as a demographic winter or not, it may be difficult for a candidate to interpret it in the examination hall. So we can say that it is some bouncer. Uh, just in the introduction, the candidates were supposed to define what is demographic winter. Its key characteristics means below replacement fertility rate, aging population, its causes, economic factors, social change, health and lifestyle, and global trend. Just some example, if you even though you don't know the exact total fertility rate, but at least you know the examples. And in prelims, I think there was one question related on this topic itself, means declining. You can say that the birth rate in developed countries. So that was one question was asked in 2024 prelims examination. You can go through it. Is the world moving towards such situation? Means you now you need to put both sides of the coin, means arguments in the favor and arguments against. Arguments in favor for the world moving towards a demographic winter, then a declining fertility rate, aging population, decreased workforce, etc. And with the help of example, you can substantiate it. And against argument against world moving towards a demographic winter. So you can give some examples. Means even though in some countries the population is decreasing, but in third world countries or in developing countries the population is increasing. There is an increasing trend of migration. Globalization is supporting for the migration. So such a type of dimensions you can include. You can also put some examples, or you can say that the initiatives of some countries like Russia and France, where they are means promoting for increasing the population. Similarly, in the context of Germany, Germany means favoring the migration so that their population can be increased. So such a type of example you can put over there. But obviously, in examination hall, it will not have been possible for a candidate to write down the answer because the term was difficult to interpret. Means it was, you can say that the risky mitigation strategy solution. Means yes, for the you can say that there is a trend in the favor of demographic winter. Again, you can give the arguments against the demographic winter and how to deal with the situation of demographic winter. You can provide solution or mitigation strategies. In 10 marker question, you can write down this in conclusion. So again, the next question was distinguish between gender equality, gender equity, and women's empowerment. Why is it important to take gender concerns into account in program design and implementation? Now, the second part of the question, you can say that it have interlinkages with the GS2, means social justice part, where the policy formulation point comes. Okay, again, in you can say that introduction, you can just establish interlinkages between these keywords. Mm, in separate part, you need to define gender equality, means equality in all genders for woman, men, and third gender, included third gender itself. Yeah, also, then you can put SDG 5, then its legal framework, economic impact, social benefits, and education. So means you can diversify your concept or your point. Then gender equity means you can say that the fair treatment according to the need of you can say that the different genders, the opportunities should be provided. And here one's empowerment, the provision of choices. Means equity involves the fairness in treatment considering the different needs and circumstances of individual. मतलब हर जेंडर की जो अलग अलग नीड है उस हिसाब से उन्हें क्या करनी चाहिए, अपॉर्चुनिटीज देनी चाहिए. तो उस कंटेक्स में जेंडर इक्विटी का जा सकता है. वुमेन्स एम्पावरमेंट मीन्स प्रोवाइडिंग द चॉइसेस. Means women's empowerment is the process of increasing capacity of women to make choices and transform those choices into desired actions and outcomes. So these are the keywords, and also you can interlink with economical concept, means economical dimension, political participation, education, legal rights, etc. So I have given this in the tabular format. You can write down it one by one. In the second part, you are supposed to write importance of gender concern in program design and implementation. Now here you need to emphasize its importance. Obviously, now it is related with the social justice part. So here we are witnessing the interlinkages. Means if there will be a gender concern in program design and implementation, it will help in the inclusive development, efficiency and effectiveness in social justice health outcomes. So all points are given here. You can just go through it. Again, in conclusion, you can link it with SDG 5, gender equality. Then ninth question. Intercaste marriages between castes which have socio-economic parity have increased to some extent, but this is less proof of इंटररिलीजियस मैरिजेस डिस्कस। मतलब यहाँ पे यहाँ ने क्वेश्चन पूछा हुआ है कि इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं, लेकिन उस कंपैरिजन में इंटर रिलीजियस मैरिजेस है वो इंक्रीज नहीं हो रहे हैं। तो आप मैरिजेस का कॉन्टेक्स्ट यहाँ पे डिफाइन कर सकते हो कि वो दो पर्सन के बीच में नहीं होता है, तो दो फैमिलीज के बीच में मैरिजेस होती है, तो उसका सोशल, पॉलिटिकल डायमेंशन और कल्चरल डायमेंशन उसे इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं। तो आपको फर्स्ट पॉइंट क्या है, तो आपको जस्टिफाई करना है इंक्रीजिंग इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस विद सोशियो इकोनॉमिक पैरिटी। आप डिफरेंट डायमेंशन जो यहाँ पे मेंशन किए हुए हैं वो आप कोट कर सकते हो, जैसे एजुकेशन है, जो लॉज है, स्पेशल मैरिजेस एक्ट उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में है, इंक्रीजिंग अर्बनाइजेशन है, ठीक है, एजुकेशन की लेवल इंक्रीज हो रही है। देन जो वो मतलब आप बोल सकते हैं कि जो यंगर पीपल है, मतलब जो एज में है, तो वो खुद की चॉइस खुद कर रहे हैं, मतलब लाइफ पार्टनर खुद चूज कर रहे हैं, तो वो डायमेंशन आप यहाँ पे कवर कर सकते हो। फिर ये कंप्लीट होने के बाद आपको बस एक लाइन में यहाँ पे ब्रीफली लिख देना है कि अगर ये इंक्रीजिंग भी हो रहे, मतलब इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस, तो उसका जो प्रोपोर्शन है वो ज्यादातर नहीं है, और वो रूरल एरिया में वगैरह ज्यादातर नहीं दिखता है, क्योंकि उसके पीछे सोशल डायमेंशन है और ऑनर किलिंग है, इस जैसे डायमेंशन इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस को भी क्या कर रहे हैं, तो रेजिस्ट कर रहे हैं। तो आपको एक ब्रीफली क्या करना है, तो एक लिख देना, क्योंकि यहाँ पे डायमे मतलब कीवर्ड्स क्या है, तो डिस्कस, मतलब जितने भी पॉइंट्स है इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में और वो जो रिलेवेंट है वो आप यहाँ पे इंक्लूड कर सकते हो, लेकिन आपको ब्रीफली करना है। फिर अगला जो है, तो लोअर प्रिवेलेंस ऑफ इंटर रिलीजियस मैरिजेस, फिर आपको इसे एक्सप्लेन करना है, जैसे रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी है, उसके बाद में कुछ स्टेट में एंटी कन्वर्जन लॉज पास किए हुए हैं, फिर लव जो सारे के जो कॉन्सेप्ट जो एम्फोसाइज किए जाते हैं, पॉलिटिसाइज किए जाते हैं, तो इस हिसाब से जो डायमेंशन है आप यहाँ पे कवर कर सकते हो। ये होने के बाद भी आप एक वन लाइन में लिख सकते हो कि तो भी अगर इंटर रिलीजियस मैरिजेस कम है, लेकिन कुछ कॉन्टेक्स्ट में जो एजुकेटेड पीपल है और अर्बन लिविंग पीपल है, उनके चॉइसेस ब्रॉड हो रहे हैं, और वहाँ पे कुछ कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हमें इंटर रिलीजियस मैरिजेस दिख सकते हैं। तो एक वन लाइन में आप यहाँ पे क्या कर सकते हो, तो उसको काउंटर कर सकते हो और आपका व्यू पॉइंट यहाँ पे लिख सकते हो। और फिर कंक्लूजन में आपको क्या लिखना है, तो सोल्यूशन लिखना है। अगर इंटरकास्ट और इंटर रिलीजियस मैरिजेस बाय द मीन्स ऑफ चॉइस अगर हो रहे हैं, तो उसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए, लेकिन वो उसमें फोर्सफुल नहीं होना चाहिए। तो एक कंक्लूजन में आप उसका सॉल्यूशन दे सकते हैं। So that may be your you can say that the conclusion. Now the 10th question is, in dealing with the socio-economic issues of development, what kind of collaboration between government, NGOs, private sector will be the most productive? Again, that question is having the overlapping with social justice part of paper 2, or you can say the governance part of paper 2. If you, because obviously the candidates prepare society along with social justice, and if you have prepared the both things in the interlinkages or in the context of interdisciplinary manner, then obviously you will have been in position to write down the answer over here. And again, you need to just emphasize what are the socio-economic issues of development. Then you can highlight where poverty, unemployment, intellectual or inequality. So you have just defined the socio-economic issues of development over here. And again, these three partners means government, NGOs, and private sector. They have their own strength. So if these three sectors come together and they just bring their strength, then it will helpful for just addressing these issues. So in the first part, I have just given, you can say that their strength. Again, in examination, after lining means writing the three lines of introduction, at max three lines of introduction. In the next two lines or in the three lines, you can just draw a diagram over here is the strength of government, NGOs, and private sector, and you can show their interlinkages. Means, for example, uh, government, then NGOs, and private sector. You need to just write down their strength, one, two, three, one, two, three, and just show. the arrow, how they can be helpful to solve the situation. Means that issues of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Then productive collaboration between government, NGOs, private sector in socio-economic development. Then community development, community-led development. Here, the NGOs, government, private sector work together. Then Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Hindustan Unilever partner for water sustainability in rural area. Then e-Chowpal, it is being supported by the ICT Private Limited, and the farmers are getting benefit from it by getting the real-time information, real-time data, so that it can helpful for them to get access for the market, the social welfare initiatives. Then education sector partnership is Pratham. Pratham is making or contributing to the primary sector education. It has been publishing the its report. It gives the feedback to the government, to where to government to focus on. So you can give some example. PS आवास योजना, इसमें जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर है तो उनका कंट्रीब्यूशन है, सेवा बैंक है, उम, जो वुमन एम्पावरमेंट के लिए वर्किंग कर रहे हैं, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में कोविड का एग्जांपल हम दे सकते हैं, जहाँ पे एनजीओ, प्राइवेट सेक्टर एंड गवर्नमेंट वर्क together. Post disaster rehabilitation, NGOs like Gunj, obviously that are part of NGOs and all that, it is a part of second paper, but if you have prepared that topic thoroughly, obviously that content you can use in GS1 paper. Then public-private partnership, Tata Strive, Renew Power. So some examples are given over there. In briefly, in last means after completing your main body, you just need to write down issues in collaboration. Now you are not supposed to give more points to it or more weightage to it, but at least you can mention 2 to 3 points and these solutions, and write down this solution in conclusion. Means you can write down this solution in your conclusion, so that you can give the maximum space of your unchecked sheet to the main demand of the question. But also, while giving more demand of the question, you are supposed to give some weightage to the peripheral demand, because if you write down these peripheral things, obviously it will make your answer complete. So that is the thing. So that was the 11th. Now it is this question is related to Chola temple architecture. Though the great Cholas are no more, yet their name is still remembered with a great pride because of their highest achievement in the domain of art and architecture in South Indian history. Again, the Chola architecture, there was one question in previous year, and UPSC itself asked the question on Chola's contribution in temple architecture, I think. So it is a doable thing. Means if you are following previous year question paper thoroughly, if you are just means emphasizing on what is being asked in the last year question papers, and you are interlinking it with the themes in the syllabus, then obviously you will have been in position to complete means to do the, write down the answer for this question. So again, in introduction, you are supposed to write down the duration of cholas and their main contribution in the context of Dravida type of temple architecture. Again, Chola's contribution to art. Again, you can classify it into two parts: performing arts and non-performing arts. In non-performing arts, bronze sculpture, Nataraj Murti, and also lost art, casting technique. These keywords you are supposed to write down over here. Iconography. Chola's artist development, Shaiva, Vaishnav, and Alvar and Nainar's Bhakti movement was prevalent at those times in South India. So their related iconography was prevalent. Then coinage and the emblem are out on the coins. Temple sculpture. So on Airavateshwara temple, then Brihadeshwara temple. So you can mention these points. म्यूरल्स एंड फ्रेस्कोस, बृहदेश्वरा टेम्पल, जहाँ पे कुछ पेंटिंग्स के जो पॉइंट्स है, मतलब एविडेंसेस है, वो एविडेंसेस हमें मिल रहे हैं. म्यूजिक, ऑब्वियसली यू कैन इंटरलिंक इट विद कर्नाटिक म्यूजिक, डांस, भरतनाट्यम, नो इशू. ड्रामा, we are means Ramayana and Mahabharata, based based on Ramayana and Mahabharata, the dramas were performed, and also the temple sculpture also show the different types of themes over there. So you can interlink it with the drama. The Devadasi system, you can say that earliest it was the pious thing, and that Devadasi system contributed in the development of Bharatnatyam. So you can link it with Natya Shastra influence. Then Sangam literature was revived. More literature was written in Tamil language. temple festival and its performance is a relation with music, dance, drama. Means you need to just create a unique points from your syllabus, and if you are able to include this diversity in your answer, then obviously you will get a maximum marks. Then uh, legacy in performing arts, Carnatic music, Tamil drama. Okay, here and in the context of visual arts or non-performing arts, terracotta and stoneworks. Then Chola achievement in architecture. Then you are supposed to cover their contribution in temple architecture and different phases. So early phase, second, third, and late phase. You can interlink with the Brihadeshwara temple with UNESCO's World Heritage Site. So that is the thing. Then town planning and temple towns, water tank, and influence on Southeast Asian architecture. Because Cholad leads the naval expedition to Southeast Asia, and we have evidences of influence of Chola culture, or you can say that the Indian culture on these countries. Okay, so you can interlink with it. Angkor Wat temple in Cambodia. So you could cover such a points in your answer. सी देखो दोस्तों, यहाँ पे ये जो पीडीएफ है वो तो आपको मिलने वाली है, इसलिए मैं ज़्यादा इसमें क्या कर रहा हूँ, तो ज़्यादा पढ़ने में ये नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मतलब इम्फोसिस नहीं दे रहा हूँ। लेकिन हमारा मतलब पर्पस क्या है कि इंट्रोडक्शन क्या होना चाहिए, स्ट्रक्चर कैसे होना चाहिए, और आप कंक्लूड कैसे कर सकते हो। अगर ये चीज़ें आपको पता चल गई तो आप क्या कर सकते हो कि मैक्सिमम पॉइंट्स आपके आंसर में लिख सकते हो। लेकिन उसके लिए आपको प्रिपरेशन भी करना होगा। यहाँ पे आपका स्ट्रक्चराइजेशन का जो पॉइंट है और डिफरेंट डायमेंशंस और एक अलग तरीके से हम उसको कैसे इंटरप्रेट कर सकते हैं, वो थिंग्स आप यहाँ पे क्या कर सकते हो, तो कवर कर सकते हो। अब यहाँ पे अपने देखा तो यहाँ पे इन्होंने कमेंट लिखा हुआ है। ऑब्वियसली चोलास का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो तो है ही, लेकिन आपको सिर्फ यहाँ पे कंक्लूजन करने से पहले एक दो लाइन पे इतना लिख देना चाहिए कि चोलास का कंट्रीब्यूशन था, लेकिन वो कन्फाइंड टू द साउथ इंडिया था। जैसे नॉर्थ इंडिया में जितना कंट्रीब्यूशन था, जितना एम्फोसाइज किया गया था, उतना चोलास का नहीं किया गया, और वो अभी अभी हो रहा है करके। तो वो जो एक दो लाइन में आपको ये सब समराइज कर देना है, और कंक्लूजन में आपको फिर से एम्फोसाइज करना है कि चोलास का कंट्रीब्यूशन क्या था, मतलब आर्ट और आर्किटेक्चर में बहुत अच्छा था। तो ये एम्फोसाइज कर सकते हो आप यहाँ पे। अगर आपने प्रैक्टिस की है कुछ टेम्पल आर्किटेक्चर की और डायग्राम की वगैरह, तो आप यहाँ पे ड्रॉ कर सकते हो, अगर स्कोप है, स्पीड है और स्पेस है तो। देन next question was, how far it is correct to say that the First World War was fought essentially for the preservation of balance of power? Means causes for First World War. I think in 2013 there was a question that do you think that the Germany was responsible for the First World War, or it was sole only Germany was responsible for the First World War? In that context, the question was asked, and you can say that it can be interlinked with that theme, means reasons responsible for the First World War. Now, in introduction, you are supposed to just give the brief background of First World War, when it started, when it ended, and then whether it was fought for the balance of power, and then balance of power as a cause. Then European alliance and triple intent, triple alliance, why they formed, again what was their purpose. Then you can put the phases of nationalism, then its interlinkage with the balance of power. Means for example, when the unification of Germany and Italy completed. After that, the dominance of Germany in the politics of Europe, then role of Bismarck, then with then further development, how the Britain and France tried to maintain their, you can say that the position in the European political system. So that all things you can supposed to write down over here. So I have just listed the points. Then other causes beyond balance of power, because the balance of power was not the only reason behind the First World War. There were other many reasons. So I have just concluded over here. Means for example, nationalism, industrialization, okay, then self-interest, so imperialism and economic interest, then immediate reason, the assassination of आर्क फर्दिनांद, इनका जो मतलब assassination किया गया था, तो domestic political pressure, culture and ideological factors, so all these things are mentioned over here. And then afterward you are supposed to conclude it. It was easier said. It means if you are following the previous year question paper and you are interlinking it with your sources, then obviously it will become easier for you to write down the answer. Then the next question was, how far how far was the industrial revolution in England responsible for the decline of handicrafts and cottage industry in India? If you properly analyze previous year question paper of UPSC means, then you will realize that at least once UPSC 1 year after another asking a question on British economical policies. So it is important to emphasize on this part means economical policies of British government, or you can say the British East India Company up to 1857, and afterward the British government. So and their impact on Indian economy, society, etc. Now you need to establish the impact of industrial revolution on decline of handicraft industry in India means deindustrialization. And in addition to that, there were many other reasons which were responsible for the decline of handicrafts and cottage industry in India. So just go through it, and you will realize what different you can say that the factors were responsible for decline of handicraft industry in India. And mechanized textile production, obviously, due to the mechanization, mass production was there, and if there will be mass production, it will be cheaper, and the costlier Indian product will not be compete with those cheap products from manufactured with the help of machines. So British imposition of free trade policies after 1813 in Charter, the phase of free trade, then trade of wealth and capital, then destruction of local partition markets. So these points you can cover, and other factors: colonial exploitation and monopoly practices, then decline of patronage, because when the Britishers expanded their rule in India, the princely states lose their control over their territory. So obviously their financial power also means decrease. So it led to the abandonment of the patronage to this artisanal cottage industry. So you can interlink over there, then interlinkages with the land revenue policies, then impoverishment of rural means agrarian society. Then it's shifting towards the agriculture. So this different interlinkages point you can come read over here and write down your answer. So that is the thing. In conclusion, you can summarize the answer. So then the next question was 14. The groundwater potential for Gangetic Valley is on serious decline. How may it affect the food security in India? Obviously, the groundwater system is groundwater, water as a resource. It is being used, but in a different form. But if you know about the importance of groundwater, its issues, its solution, then obviously you can interlink it with the context of Gangetic Valley. So you can, if you have data, you can quote over it. If not, then you can generally mention in Gangetic Valley. Then you can draw the map over here to just show its geographical context, and then the reason for decline in groundwater potential. So why groundwater potential is on seriously decline. So you can mention the different reason over there. And in the second part, how it affect the food security of India. फूड सिक्योरिटी ऑफ इंडिया पे कैसे अफेक्ट हो सकता है, then impact on crop yields, impact on agriculture income, impact on food supply chain, impact on soil health and environment, social economic impact. Again, in these points there are sub points, so you can also implement such a structure if you have points, and if you have speed for writing these points. And in the last part we have provided the solution for it. I have given more solution over here, because if you just remember these solutions, you can use it in the context of means water scarcity thing, whether it is in the context of groundwater, whether it is context of you can say that the river water, etc., fresh water. Then just conclude. Then water aurora australis and aurora borealis. How are this triggered? Again, you can use the tabular format. Now it is a factual question. Just go through it, and in the second part you are supposed to just you can say that is formation mechanism auroras and conclusion. Then in 16 number question, what is twister? Why are the majority of the twister observed in areas around the Gulf of Mexico? Now twister is again geophysical phenomena. If you know this phenomena, then you will have been in position to write down the answer, but it is also a factual one. If you don't know, then you will not be able to answer such a type of questions. But you can interlink it with the previous year question paper, interlink in the same things, because I think there was the question related with the tropical cyclones or whatever it may be, and they had interlinked the formation of tropical cyclone with the particular areas or particular geographical areas, and UPSC asked why only these areas tropical cyclones occurred. So this question reflect, or you can say that was is similar line. Then in introduction, if you know about the twister, then you are supposed to write down. If you have geography as an optional subject, then I think it may be easier for you, or you may be in position to deal with it. Then formation of twister, how the twisters form, and why Gulf of Mexico region. Then different physical climatic regions have been mentioned over here, and its conclusion. Then 17th question of society. What is regional disparity? How does it differ from diversity? How serious is the issue of regional disparity in India? Now you are supposed to just differentiate regional disparity with and diversity. Again, in introduction, just define these keywords. In the first part, you can use again tabular form, just differentiate religious, sorry, regional diversity, sorry, regional disparity and diversity. So again, it is socio-economical development related concept. It is cultural, language, and ethnicity related concept. All points are given over here. Then seriousness of regional disparity in India means how there is regional disparity in India is affecting on socio-economical development and how the different you can say that the evils existed in the society are the outcomes of uh, means regional disparity in India. So economic imbalance between states. Then you can quote your Bimaru states or income disparity between the states, industrial concentration in Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, but Bihar and Jharkhand like states are lacking the industrialization. Educational inequality. Kerala is educationally advanced, but if we compare Kerala with Bihar, so there is a grave inequality. We witness grave inequality. Again, healthcare disparities. If you compare rural region to the urban region, again here next one rural-urban divide, agrarian distress, migration pattern. So you can mention this. Then solution. And so you are supposed to provide the solution for regional disparities. So the regional disparities solution have been covered over here, and then just conclude it. Then next question was, despite comprehensive policies for equity and social justice, underprivileged sections are not yet getting the full benefits of affirmative action envisaged by the Constitution. Comment. Now, despite comprehensive policy for equity and social justice, underprivileged sections, again, if you see, it has the similar means overlapping with the social justice part of GS2. Now you are supposed to put the constitutional mechanism or constitutional dimensions related to the underprivileged sections. Then on the basis of it, you can say that the constitutional provisions, the government has formulated various policies, introduced various schemes for the upliftment and betterment of this underprivileged section. So this dimension you need to emphasize in the introduction. The challenges in achieving equity and social justice for underprivileged section. Now, in the first part of the answer, you are supposed to mention the different reasons. So I heard mention the different reasons from educational, economical, social perspective, but it is a society paper, so you need to emphasize more on social dimensions. So that is the thing, and also related with the implementation or governance aspects also. You can cover the governance related dimensions here. Then solution to improve the affirmative action implementation. So mechanisms means whole society approach, whole government approach, working with the NGOs, education, development, etc. These things you are supposed to include in your solution part. Then in 19th, globalization has increased urban migration by skilled young unmarried women from various classes. How has this trend impacted upon their personal freedom and relationship with family? Now, in introduction, you have to justify the first line means urban migration is increasing and the skilled young unmarried women migration is increasing. So you can just mention over here and what are the reasons behind that IT sector. You can say that the healthcare, education. For this purpose, these women are migrating. Then impact on personal freedom of women. Now you are supposed to just discuss the its impact on personal freedom and relationship with family. Again, in the context of personal freedom of women, you need to cover both positive impact and negative impact. Positive in the sense, uh, right to choice, they become more empowered, financial independence, they make their own choice, means they make their own decision that help in increasing their confidence. So such a dimension you are supposed to include in these things, but that must be supported with the help of example or fact, or your point must be self-explanatory in nature. Then negative impact. A negative impact in the sense, though the women are feeling empowered, but they also face, you can say that the discrimination, or you can say that they face the challenges at the workplace. So such a things you can mention in the negative part. Then impact on relationship with family. Positive in the context, when women become uh, means money earner, or they earn for themselves, obviously they become empowered and they give send back their money to the family, and family also get empowered or feel empowered. So you can help means write down that point. Again, redefining gender roles in the family means throughout the generation, they, you can say that the hearth and birth was defined only to the woman, but due to this migration, getting the new economical opportunities, the woman's role in the society is getting defined or newly defined. Then improve marriage prospect means delaying the age. Role model effect means if one woman from the society or community is earning good, then obviously it will have the positive impact on the other woman. So you can say that the woman empowerment can be helpful from this trend also. The negative impact means strain familiar ties, means the distance relation with the families, not having the regular contact. In such a situation, the woman may have to face the work pressure, because in the recent we are hearing the incidences from Pune, where the one woman committed suicide due to the workload or work pressure. So that such type of example you can quote over here. Increased uh, marital pressure means that is also increasing the means pressure from the family for means for the marriage. Cultural alienation, obviously, when the woman must migrate from the family or locality to the new areas, then obviously the means cosmopolitan and culture become, it may be not be suitable for each and every woman. So you can also quote over there. So that this dimension you are supposed to include in this, and just means conclude over there, means by providing the solutions. Then 20th, critically analyze the proposition that there is a high correlation between India's cultural diversity and socio-economical marginalities. Means they need to, means the question is demanding that whether it is true that the India's cultural diversity is always related to socio-economical marginalities. Now, also in introduction, you need to just define India's cultural diversity and socio-economical marginalities. In the first part of the answer, obviously, you will give the supportive arguments for high correlation between the cultural diversity and socio-economical marginality. For example, caste-based exclusion in tribal areas, they do not have, you can say that the opportunities, or and they face the underdevelopment. Then religious marginality, some communities may face, you can say that the discrimination. Linguistic exclusion, if the person is multilingual or from then that person may get benefit from it. For example, if the person is well versed in English, then the person will have the maximum opportunity. If the person faces difficulty in speaking or writing English, obviously person's opportunities gets restricted. It is in the context of English, but you can correlate it with the other dimensions in Indian context. Regional disparities, how means Odisha, Bihar, it faces the regional disparities. Obviously, there is a less, you can say that the industrialization, rural-urban divide, gender, and intersectionality. So that these dimensions are covered over here. Again, connecting line. However, diversity does not always translate into marginalization, with factors such as affirmative action and regional development policies playing a significant. Means the statement means to say that it is not always possible. Means it is all, sorry, यह हमेशा ट्रू नहीं है, ये ट्रूथ नहीं है कि हमेशा जो ये सोशो इकोनॉमिकल मार्जिनलिटीज और कल्चरल डाइवर्सिटीज है, वो हमेशा किस में रिफ्लेक्ट होगी, सोशो इकोनॉमिकल मार्जिनलिटीज, जिससे गवर्नमेंट की अफॉर्मेटिव एक्शंस है, जैसे SC STs के लिए अगर हम देखें तो रिजर्वेशन है, एजुकेशन में है, ठीक है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट में है, उसका भी बेनिफिट उनको मिल रहा है, फिर आपको सब्सटेंशिएट करना है। कल्चरल कैपिटल एंड इकोनॉमिकल सक्सेस, जैसे कुछ कम्युनिटीज है, वो कल्चरल डाइवर्सिटी में तो दिखते हैं, लेकिन सोशो इकोनॉमिकल मार्जिनिटीज में नहीं दिखते, जैसे पासिस हुए, सिख्स हुए, जैन्स हुए, तो आप इससे इंटरलिंक कर सकते हैं कि वो कल्चरल डाइवर्सिटी में है, लेकिन हमेशा कहा इससे लिंक नहीं है। तो सोशो इकोनॉमिकल डिस्पैरिटीज, तो यू कैन इंटरलिंक ओवर दिस। इकोनॉमिक एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी, जैसे वन धन योजना है, तो आप इस ऐसे प्रोग्राम क्या कर सकते हैं, यहाँ पे कोट कर सकते हैं, जो उनकी एम्पावरमेंट के लिए और उनकी सोशो इकोनॉमिकल मार्जिनिटीज कम करने के लिए यहाँ पे ये क्या किया है, तो प्रपोज किया है। रीजनल इकोनॉमिक सक्सेस ऑफ लिंग्विस्टिक माइनॉरिटीज, जैसे तमिलनाडु, केरला, दे आर परफॉर्मिंग वेल। अर्बन माइग्रेशन, इकोनॉमिक मोबिलिटी, जो हेल्पफुल है यहाँ पे। So such type of question means dimensions and examples you can include in your answer. Then in the last part you are supposed to provide the solution to this socio-economic marginality linked to cultural diversity. So affirmative action, inclusive education, economic empowerment, blah blah blah, that has been mentioned here, and just conclude it. Now, see, Miss aspirants, my purpose was to just let you know how the questions can be interpreted, because this information is with you. But sometimes what happen, even though the candidate mm, are referring the same sources, but what happens, that sources and their information uh, does not reflect into marks. And while reflecting into the marks, what is needed, the innovation. And in the context of innovation, where you can make an innovation, it's innovation start from the interpreting the question. And if you interpret the question in the right context, in the right direction, and if you diversify your answer with the relevant content but present in innovative form, then also it will means help you to fetch a more marks. So that is our purpose. So if some of you, if you want this PDF, then you can access to it through it our app. The link of app is given in the description box. You can download the app, where you can read this model answer hits from here. ऑल्सो फॉर आवर महाराष्ट्रीयन गाईज, आपल्या महाराष्ट्रातल्या मुलांसाठी पण काय केलं आहे, हे जे आन्सर शीट आपण GS वनचं घेतलेलं आहे ना, त्याचं पण आपण याच्यामध्ये ट्रान्सलेशन करून दिलेलं आहे ॲज इट इज. तर जेही मराठीमधून प्रिपेअर करत असतील, तर ते पण याला काय करू शकतात, ॲसेस करू शकतात. ज्यांनाही हे मॉडेल आन्सर हे बघायचे असतील, त्यांना हे कुठे भेटू शकते, आपल्या डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्समध्ये काय केलेलं आहे, तर आपल्या ॲपची लिंक दिलेली आहे. त्या ॲपमध्ये जाऊन ते ॲप तुम्ही डाउनलोड करा, आणि डाउनलोड केल्यानंतर तुम्हाला हे जे मॉडेल आन्सर आहे, तर मॉडेल आन्सर तुम्हाला तिथे बघायला मिळू शकते. आणि हे मॉडेल आन्सर तुम्हाला तुमचं नेक्स्ट जे प्रिपरेशन असणार आहे, मग ते UPSC असेल किंवा MPSC राज्यासेवा डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह पॅटर्न असेल, त्या दोघींसाठी तुम्हाला कसे असणार आहे, तर ते हेल्पफुल असणार आहे. सो आय थिंक गाईज, this video may be helpful to you. You can give your suggestions. How was the video? What extra thing you need from us, so that it will be helpful for in your examination journey. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, then I request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and just spread this video to your maximum friends, so they can also get benefit from it. So now here we will stop. Thank you.